7 days on the brand new Norwegian Aqua, and we've got a lot to say. We normally sail with Royal Caribbean, so Norwegian was a completely new experience for us. Some things we heard about this ship sounded amazing, others not so much. In this video, I'll tell you what really worked and what didn't, and whether we'll sail on Aqua again. Let's get started. First of all, we really enjoyed this 7-day cruise to Bermuda. Having the ship stay overnight here for 2 evenings, giving us 3 days to explore the island, makes it a completely different experience from a typical port day visit. We had time to see 2 beautiful towns, relax on the famous pink sand beach, and take a catamaran cruise. We went snorkelling right off Horseshoe Bay and again from the catamaran, and both were incredible. Best of all, the weather turned out perfect. It had been raining in Bermuda before we arrived, and our first day even started with a thunderstorm. But after that, it was nothing but blue skies and sunshine for the rest of our stay here. One thing I really appreciated was that Norwegian Cruise Line offers a free tender service to St. George's. As far as I know, they're the only cruise line that does that. Without it, getting there would either be difficult or expensive, and that would have been a real shame, especially as St. George's is such a stunning UNESCO World Heritage Town. But what about the ship itself? Does the brand new Norwegian Aqua live up to expectations? And would I sail with NCL or this ship in particular again? Let's take a closer look. By the way, if you are new to the channel, I'm Ken, and on my channel, I share tips and reviews on flights, cruises, hotels, and all-inclusive resorts. Well, let's start with the first impressions of the ship itself. The overall look is very modern and stylish, and most of the spaces are genuinely pleasing to the eye. I absolutely love the Aqua slide coaster. It's a brilliant bit of fun and something completely different at sea. The drop slide was also great, always giving that quick thrill whenever I rode it. And the spa deserves a special mention. It's spectacular, both in terms of facilities and design. The fitness center is really well equipped with lots of techno gym equipment, and what's more, you got a really great view here. It's located at the forward of the ship, and with all these floor-to-ceiling windows, you get a really great view when working out. However, while there are some fantastic features, Aquas does suffer from some serious design flaws that affect day-to-day experience. One issue is the layout of the upper decks. To get from the main pool area to the slides, you actually have to walk through the indoor corridors on deck 17, like what I'm doing now. I saw so many cruisers looking confused, wondering if they have taken a wrong turn, and even asking staff if they were really supposed to walk indoors in wet swimwear just to get from one outdoor area to another. It just feels awkward and unintuitive. The other major problem is the venue's size. Aqua is slightly larger than the earlier Primus class ships, Prima and Viva, and they have made the entertainment venues a bit bigger this time, but they're still far too small for the number of passengers. We saw people being turned away from shows more than 30 minutes before showtime because the venues were already full. This creates a vicious cycle. Once guests realize that they need to line up earlier, they started arriving even sooner. And by mid-cruise, you end up needing to queue an hour or more just to get in. To make matters worse, for the Prince Tribute Show Revolutions, NCL actually removed the seats on deck 6 to create a standing mosh pit area, which reduced the total seating even further. NCL really needs to rethink this design for future ships. Entertainment is a huge part of cruise experience, and no one wants to spend more time queuing than actually watching the performance. and people get incredibly upset if they miss out the show because the entertainment venue is just too small. Another frustration is how much space is reserved for extra cost areas like the Haven and the Vibe Beach Club. I completely understand that cruise line need to generate extra revenue, but on Aqua, it feels like too much of the prime outdoor deck space have been taken away from general guests. The main pool area for everyone else is tiny, and on sea days it was so crowded that I couldn't even swim a single stroke without bumping into someone. To make matters worse, passes for the Vibe Beach clubs were completely sold out before we even stepped on board. So there was no way to upgrade even if we wanted to. Now, it's not all negative. Aqua does have some really well-designed spaces. One feature that I love is the Ocean Boulevard, which wraps right around Deck 8. It gives the ship a beautiful open view and creates a lot of alfresco dining areas for restaurants. The Infinity Beach area is another highlight. It's a stunning space to relax by the water, and when it's not crowded, it's a perfect place to spend a lazy afternoon. Now, let's talk about the food on board. Honestly, it's been a bit hit and miss. For breakfast, we usually ended up at Surfside Cafe, the buffet restaurant, as we had early excursions most mornings. The breakfast here was identical every single day, which got repetitive quickly. That said, the lunch offering is much stronger, with a rotating menu and some really delicious roasted meat selections that I particularly enjoyed. One venue we really liked was the Indulge Food Hall. On embarkation day, it was chaotic, and the food wasn't that memorable. But we decided to give it another try one evening, and it was a completely different experience. Quiet, relaxed, and the food was fantastic. The porchetta from Seaside Rotisserie was so good that we immediately ordered a second helping. Another place that we enjoyed was the Local, which serves complimentary pub-style comfort food. It's perfect for a casual bite, and we went there a couple of times. It's also a nice, quieter option for breakfast if you find the Surfside Cafe too hectic in the mornings. As for the main dining room, we find the food there to be quite mediocre. Normally, we go to the main dining room for dinner a lot during a cruise, but on this cruise, we only went there twice because the food wasn't that great. We also like having the More at Sea package, which included 2 specialty dining meals for us. It's great value because you can dine in these restaurants for hardly any extra cost. The downside is that everyone has the same deal, so it can be difficult to get the reservations you want. Even so, we managed to book 2 great venues. Our favorite by far was Le Bistro, the French restaurant. The lamb chops here were absolutely incredible. We also tried Catley's NCL Signature Steakhouse. It wasn't bad, but it didn't live up to our expectations. The steaks were fine, just not the wow experience that we had hoped for. Overall, I love that there are so many dining choices on Norwegian Aqua. We almost never went to the same venue twice for dinner, which kept things interesting throughout the cruise. The drinks package included with the More at Sea was another highlight. It covered most beverage, which was great, but it's a shame that specialty coffees and bottled water were not included. We really like our balcony cabin. This was easily the most spacious standard balcony stateroom that we've ever stayed in. There was plenty of room to move around, a proper sofa, and a bathroom that felt genuinely roomy. The shower was particularly impressive, large enough that it never felt cramped or claustrophobic. There were lots of power sockets and USB charging ports, which meant we could keep all our devices charged up throughout the cruise without juggling charges. Entertainment is one area where Aqua didn't quite deliver for us. I've already mentioned the small size of the entertainment venues, and this really was a frustration. You have to queue well before showtime just to get a seat, and in some cases, we spent more time waiting in line than actually watching the performance. As for the show themselves, I thought the production shows were reasonably good, but I still prefer the ones on Royal Caribbean, especially the aqua shows and ice skating performances, which are in a different league. If you are a Prince fan, then you'll probably enjoy the show Revolutions. Outside of the main stage productions, there were lots of parties, comedy acts, and game shows in the evenings, and I really enjoyed those. The atmosphere around the ship at night was lively and fun. The internet package was another mixed bag. The More at Sea package includes 150 minutes of free Wi-Fi, which sounds generous at first. However, the speed is throttled and you're blocked from streaming sites like YouTube. You also have to manually log out every time you finish, or your minutes will drain away while you are not even using it. To get around this, we bought an eSIM for use while we dock in Bermuda and made use of free Wi-Fi in towns and near the port as well. Between these options, we managed to avoid buying extra internet time from NCL, which is very expensive. In general, the crew were friendly and professional, but we did notice that some seemed overworked, and that affected the service at times. I won't name names or locations because I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but it did stand out to me that the service level on Royal Caribbean and Celebrity feels higher overall. Staff on those lines also seem more proud to work for their brand, and that shows in the way they interact with guests. So, what's my final verdict on this cruise? It's clear there were things Norwegian did really well, and other areas where they fell short. Will I cruise with Norwegian again? Yes, if the price is right, the itinerary suits us, and if it's the right ship. But is Aqua the right ship for me? Probably not. Once the novelty of the slide coaster and the drop wears off, I found the overall design of the ship lacking. The entertainment venues are far too small, meaning you waste a lot of time queuing. And huge areas are reserved for Vibe Beach Club and the Haven, leaving less space for everyone else, especially on the little deck. On Royal Caribbean, there's more open deck space for all guests to enjoy, and that makes a huge difference to the overall experience. In the end, we still had a fantastic holiday, but that was mostly down to the amazing time we had in Bermuda. If you would like to see what we got up to while the ship was docked there, check out my next video here, where I take you along as we explore Bermuda's towns, beaches, and activities. See you over there. Ciao!